The queerness of it all. Ruth Haley Barton and I disagree about gender, of course. Um, on pages 82 and 83, she talks about gender and gender roles and honoring our bodies through the gender roles. We disagree on that. She is a firm believer in there are only two genders. I am an intersex person. So I have to say scientifically that even if we want to fall into traditional male female gender roles, we have to at least say that there is this third gender because I fall into it. So I think that she lacks some scientific sensitivity in saying that. So, but there's enough good in this whole section that we need to not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because she's really right about a lot of things, about how we honor God with our body and how we honor each other with our body. So in the queerness of it all, let's say what most United Methodist churches believe, what I believe, what we where we're at. So, there are traditions that stay with traditional male female, only two genders. Those are the only recognized, and we're only going to recognize heterosexual marriage relationships. There's a time and a place for that, and those people, as long as they are loving and kind, can have their belief. Now, I have found that they are frequently not loving and kind. We, the church that I attend and work at, and United Methodists in the United States overall, have expanded this understanding by quite a bit for lots of reasons. So people want to throw scripture at me about being queer or gay or straight or whatever. I'm intersex, so I can't be 100% gay or 100% straight. I have XXY chromosomes. So I have male and female chromosomes. I have ambiguous body parts, the whole thing. I cannot be 100% either. Therefore, I fall into this weird place where I recognize I am a vast minority. But I'm still here, I'm still queer, and I'm still in ministry. So I have to address it at some level, and I address it frequently. It feels like here's what I can say about our understanding of scripture, our understanding of image of God, and where we're currently at. There are 6 total verses in all of scripture that deal with anything that could be related to homosexuality. There are 365 about not worrying. There are hundreds about loving. There are dozens about caring for the orphan and the widow. So I think we've made a outside issue a center circle issue, but if we're going to look at those 6 verses, let's do that. 2 of them are in Leviticus. I don't follow Leviticus because I'm not under Levitical law. I eat bacon. I obviously cut my hair. I wear pants. I wear mixed fabrics. I eat shellfish. I mix milk and meat. There are more than 600 Levitical laws. I don't follow them. So I don't feel any more compelled to follow Leviticus 18:22 than I do Leviticus 16:14. I don't I am not bound to the law. I'm bound to grace. I've got tattoo like there's just so much in Leviticus that none of us follow, but we want to cherry pick those verses out. So, those 2 in Leviticus I'm done with. Let's move to Romans 1. In Romans 1, we read about nature, and Paul is having this dissertation about men and women trading their nature for a broken nature. If you look at it in its original languages and in the original context, in the historical cultural context, it is pretty clear that he's speaking about a power dynamic where masters are sleeping with slaves or older folks are sleeping with younger folks. I don't think that anybody would agree that it's okay to do either of those. This is about a power dynamic, not necessarily about male, male, female, female, even though there was probably some male older men with male younger men and women too. So it's about using power well. So that's Romans. If you want to go to First Corinthians 6:9, the word homosexual was inserted in there in 1946. It wasn't even in there until the Revised Standard Version translation of the Bible, and it replaced a phrase that says those who destroyed themselves. I just don't know that that's a great translation to go from one who destroys themselves to homosexual. And to replace a phrase with a single word is also problematic, but for different reasons. That's also the same case in First Timothy. First Timothy, it's the same exact phrase, those who destroy themselves, and it's been replaced with the word homosexual. That is uh, um, identical phrasing, identical switching, also 1946. So there are your five big verses about it. And if you want to talk about the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah, people will say, well, Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of sodomy. That's not true. You want to think that that's true, but if we go to Ezekiel, I want to read it directly so I don't misquote. Ezekiel 16:49. Scrolling to 16:49. Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and the needy. They were haughty, and they did detestable things before me. Therefore I did away with them as you have seen. That doesn't sound like the sin of Sodom was sodomy. It sounds like the sin of Sodom was being mean. What did they say? Rude and haughty, overfed and unconcerned. They didn't help the poor and the needy. Now, we can read in Genesis how they treated the stranger. So, there are your 6 instances in scripture that deal with homosexuality at all. I think we can just leave it as a non center circle issue and move on with life. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, that's what I would want to do. Jesus said, they will know that we are Christians by our love, or my followers, my disciples, by our love. Are we loving each other well? Are we loving the poor? Are we loving the orphan? Are we loving the widow? Jesus also said in Matthew 25, when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me in. When I was sick and in prison, you came and visited me. When you did this to the least of these, you did it to me. And when you did not do it to the least of these, you didn't do it to me. Are we doing those things? Far more important than who I'm attracted to, who I share my bedroom with, etc. Can we leave it at that?